the diet honeymoon period, right? Where like you go into a diet and you're all fired up about it and like you're very adherent. And then what happens with every single diet, without exception in research studies, is once you get past a few months, adherence just starts waning and going off. And I think one thing I will say is like, keep in mind, when you look at the research data, the meta-analyses on, say, time-restricted eating versus non, when calories are equated, doesn't seem to be a difference in weight loss, fat loss, and most biomarkers of health. Same thing for low carb versus low fat. The low carb versus low fat, when protein and calories are equated, basically no difference in fat loss. Now, some people get upset about this, but it's like, to me, that's like, this is great because you get to pick the tool you want. The one tool, it doesn't seem to be that much better than another. So pick the one that works for you, right? Whatever lever you've got to pull, you've got a bunch of different options. I do think the one thing to keep in mind is when you look at like going between extremes, so like low fat to low carb or vice versa, there can be in that transition period a little bit of weirdness, for lack of a better term. Like, for example, if you've been on a ketogenic diet and all of a sudden you move to like a higher carb diet, you'll be like basically insulin resistant for just a short period of time. Now, is that going to cause any health problems? Probably not in the long term, especially if you're still controlling calories. But just because your body has kind of like upregulated these systems dealing mostly with fat and glucose production rather than glucose metabolism.
I think we've all tried an extreme diet before, and then after 1 or 2 months, it kind of fizzled out. Or maybe you were able to stick to that diet for 6 to 8 months, but eventually it wasn't sustainable. The point is, there's usually a honeymoon phase with any type of new diet that you're trying. And I agree with Dr. Lane Norton that it's very tough to adhere to an extreme diet for a very long time, which is why having a 12-hour eating window is super helpful. It takes a long time to figure out what eating lifestyle works best for you. And I say eating lifestyle as opposed to diet because diet feels like it's a short-term thing, where eating lifestyle is something that you can sustain over a very long period of time, and it just becomes who you are. Don't get it twisted. Figuring out the nutrition portion of your life takes a long time. So try not to get too frustrated. Keep a 12-hour eating window so you have some type of consistency in the nutritional aspect of your life, and try out some different flavors of eating so that you can find out what works best for you over the long term. Get after it.